Welcome to the Bosque Inundat, or flooded forest. An immersive journey into the heart of a flooded rainforest, placing you in one of the most realistic indoor rainforests you will ever see. Situated in the middle of Barcelona, in the Science Museum of Cosmocaixa. Here, towering trees rise majestically above, their branches full of a lush canopy that teems with life. And as you step inside, you're immediately surrounded by the sights and sounds of a tropical rainforest. But what makes this exhibit incredible is that it's not just a static display, it's a living, breathing ecosystem, featuring over 100 different species of plants and animals, and even a simulated rainstorm. It represents a fragment of the Brazilian Amazon jungle, complete with species you can find there. From colorful birds on the canopy to the aquatic flooded forest below. Join us in this immersive tour into the heart of a rainforest. Before we get started, I would really appreciate it for you to subscribe and join our jungle crew. As we enter, we find a collection of insects and seeds, all of them from plants and trees from the Amazon area, accompanied by illustrations that will give you clues to understand the most important things about this complex ecosystem. Did you know that the jungle is home to over 1 million species of insects, with new discoveries made every year? Especially in the jungle, they are the most diverse and abundant animals. And here we get to see a small fraction of that diversity. Next, we come across a fascinating display, showcasing skulls and skeletons of different animals. The skulls and skeletons you see offer a glimpse into the diverse creatures that call this ecosystem home, and a little clue to some of the species we will find later. As we move on, the atmosphere shifts. Our journey begins underground, where we find a pocket filled with water. And hidden inside, we come face to face with one of the largest snakes in the world, the green anaconda. Flooded forests have a wide variety of aquatic snakes, such as the anaconda, which inhabits the rainforest. Its enormous size and constriction force allows it to capture prey the size of capybara or even caimans. Their olive green skin with black spots allows them to blend seamlessly into the murky waters and dense foliage of their environment, where it lives and hunts. Continuing underground, we find a strange group of tunnels and holes. Like a mural, we have an ant nest, where its sections are perfectly identified and where you can see how the ants work non-stop. Specifically, millions of leafcutter ants. They are good diggers and build underground nests, with several chambers connected by tunnels. Each chamber fulfills specific functions. One would think they're preparing to eat one giant leaf meal. But in reality, this species does not feed on the actual leaves, but takes them through the tunnels to the cultivation area, where it cultivates a fungus. While the adults mainly get the nutrients from the sap from the trees, the sponge-like fungi feeds the ants' larvae. They are totally dependent on the care of the ants. They maintain a mutualistic relationship in which both species benefit from the interaction. Leafcutter ants could cut down the size of the entire flooded forest area in just 3 days. Talk about an appetite. They have tons of tunnels and paths, such as this one, where it goes all the way to the surface. Stick around to see this incredible indoor rainforest. As we navigate deeper into the underground passage, we reach the edge of an expanse of water. The underwater view of the flooded part of the forest. The beautiful sunlight pierces the dense foliage, illuminating the giant group of life beneath, where we can find more than 20 different species of fish. More than 3,000 species inhabit the waters of the Amazon River, of which around 200 eat fruits and seeds. One of them is the tambaqui. This piranha-shaped fish feasts on fruits from trees in the water, or within easy reach on branches. Fish that depend on fruits that fall into the water are unique to the Amazon. Many of the flooded forest trees depend on these fish to disperse their seeds. Fish eat the fruits, and the seeds pass through their digestive system and are dropped all over the forest. This helps ensure the continuation of many tree species. In the distance, I spot a giant fish, the Arapaima. It's the largest fish in the entire forest, and also the largest in fresh water. It's full of peculiarities, such as its tail with red tones, and very hard scales. They can weigh up to 300 pounds. They're an aggressive hunter that prowl floodplain lakes, gulping fish and insects. Many fish have trouble surviving as lake temperatures rise and dissolved oxygen levels fall. But the Arapaima thrives because it breathes air through its mouth thanks to its lung-like air bladder. I also spot an arowana, very popular in the aquarium hobby and very beautiful. They swim in the surface looking for insects on branches, and with their ability to jump, they can catch insects more than a meter above the surface. There's so many different species of fish that I can't cover them all, such as this banded Leporinus, pleco, suckermouth catfish, this giant beautiful red-tailed catfish, and many more. The Amazon rainforest is an immense space that occupies almost 5 million square kilometers, of which 150,000 are flooded forests that form after the rains and growth of the rivers. That repeats itself every year. In the rainy season, it can rain in an unbroken downpour for 6 or 7 hours a day. In some regions, the forest is flooded up to a height of 15 meters, which allows the fish to swim between the treetops. Amazingly, the trees and plants can't survive the flooding. One of my favorite things to do here is sit down and relax watching all the fish go on with their activities, and also notice the smaller fish that most times go unnoticed. As we continue back to land, we find a burrow. Inside, the unmistakable shape of a tarantula. Despite its fearsome appearance, tarantulas are creatures of quiet solitude, happy to dwell in hidden places in the rainforest. Within its burrow, this Brazilian tarantula waits patiently, ever vigilant for the slightest disturbance. Often misunderstood and feared, they play a vital role in the ecosystem, preying upon insects and other small creatures that venture too close to its territory. As we finally emerge from the depths, you can't help but to look up at the trees. We are surrounded by a dense rainforest, with high humidity in the air, the sounds of the forest, and sunlight filtering through the dense canopy overhead, casting beautiful patterns of light and shadow on the forest floor. The forest we produce here is an igapo from the Santarém region in Brazil. Some of the plant species in this small fragment of jungle have been growing for more than a decade in this flooded forest, in the middle of the city of Barcelona. This entire indoor jungle is also home to 10 different species of birds, such as these roseate spoonbills that walk and fly freely through the flooded forest, as well as many other creatures such as these tortoises. In the center, I spotted a replica of the ceiba, the largest central tree. If it were real, it would burst the premises, since it can grow to 60 meters. At 40 meters above the ground is the canopy, a mosaic of treetops supported by giants. They are usually covered by lianas, mosses, climbing ferns, and bromeliads, creating a completely new ecosystem. Thousands of species live in the tops of these giant jungle trees, making the canopy one of the most productive and diverse habitats on the planet, and one of the less studied habitats as well. At this site, the trees have no competition for light, but are exposed to the wind that whips them during storms. As you look up in this forest, you'll notice all these epiphytic plants, which have adapted to take their place in the jungle, growing on other plants, mainly trees, and obtaining nutrients from what the air, organic remains, and whatever water brings them. Orchids, bromeliads, mosses, and ferns belong to this group of plants so present in the jungle. Between the canopy and the ground, there are many microclimatic differences, and many different species of plants and animals thrive there, adapted to the conditions of each part, creating a vertical ecosystem. This also results in a wide animal diversity. The intense sunlight of the canopy contrasts with the few rays of light that reach the bottom. The light that does break through the canopy is captured by others that aren't as tall. Thinner trees adapted to the shade dominate the stratum, which has as its main threat the struggle of light that arrives filtered from the canopy. There is a wide variety of plants and some flowers. Mammals are usually scarce, but a multitude of birds and insects live exclusively on this level. As we go down at the bottom, the jungle floor is dark, stable, and extremely humid. Only 1% of light reaches it, and its inhabitants rely on what falls from above, from a small ray of sunlight to dead leaves or fruit. One of the inhabitants that lives here is the adorable capybara, the largest rodent in the world and one of the world's friendliest animals. This gentle giant never goes far from the water and is an excellent swimmer, for which the shape of its paws and head are ideally adapted. Our path now leads us to the flooded part of the forest, which we saw before from underwater. This forest, which replicates the Barzea forest, make up 2% of the total area of the Amazon rainforest. As a result of the long rainy seasons and overflow of the rivers, they can be full of water for up to 8 months of the year. The waters are full of life, from fish and turtles to many birds that live close to the waters, like the sunbittern, which are normally found near lakes and rivers. They hunt by slowly stalking through the shallow water and along riverbanks. Swimming in the water, I also spot a Brazilian duck having a great time. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video so far. And living up to the building's name, every so often, it becomes a real rainforest. This rainstorm is not just for show, it provides the necessary humidity for the plants and mimics the natural rain of the Amazon, producing the looks and sounds which sees unbroken downpours for hours during the rainy season. As the rainstorm stops, everything calms down again. Moving through the path, we find a few new habitats cut off from the main lake, with many more different groups of fish, such as these piranha-shaped fish, which are not actually piranhas, but are in the same family. The Bosque Inundat is full of little pockets of water filled with life all over the place. In a dark corner, something catches my eye. It's a caiman. This is the smallest of the caimans, a dwarf. They are normally resting during the day, being mostly nocturnal. Their skin is like heavy armor, in the form of bones embedded in the scales. During the rainy and high water seasons, They live deep in the flooded forest, hunting both on land and in the water, eating a variety of fish, insects, and small mammals. Swimming with the caiman, I saw river stingrays. Their tails pack a painful sting. These fascinating creatures are relative of the oceanic stingrays, but have adapted to live in the freshwater rivers of the Amazon. Their ancestors lived in a seaway connected to the Amazon River, but over time, they became isolated as the Andes rose. I also spot some river turtles resting on some branches. Like many fish, river turtles invade the forest in high water seasons to eat. Their shell protects them from most of the danger, such as caimans. One of the most rare turtles in the Amazon is this prehistoric looking one, called the mata mata. Looking like a prehistoric creature, this unique appearance helps it camouflage seamlessly into the murky waters of its natural habitat. Check out its funny nose when it comes out to breathe. And no jungle tour is complete without amphibians. In this separated piece of forest, we can find two different species you would think are prey and predator. Above, I spot an Amazon tree boa. And below, an animal very familiar to this channel, the poison dart frog. And with its name, it's clear why these two share mutual understanding and do stay separated. The two have different strategies for survival. The boa lives up in the tree, mimicking the surrounding vegetation, while the dart frogs have bright aposematic coloration to warn predators. They are poisonous. These guys have a different coloration, but are the same species as the ones I have here in my mini jungle. Be sure to check it out if you are interested. As we come to the end of our journey through the Bosque Inundat, I really appreciate how this route has been planned so that you can observe the jungle from all perspectives. Underground, underwater, on land, and even from above. This carefully designed building is perfect to mimic the natural surroundings of the animals and plants, providing the real feel and letting them display their natural behaviors. Zoos and aquariums help us connect with wildlife, but immersive experiences like this one allows us to truly experience how these animals live in the wild. It's amazing to see them in such a natural setting, even though we're indoors. There are a lot of reasons why you should visit the Cosmocascia. One of the biggest is the Bosque Inundat. Among the stress of city life, this indoor jungle offers a relaxing escape where you can reconnect with nature and recharge. If you ever visit Barcelona, make sure to add Cosmocascia to your must-visit list. Thanks for watching. Your support means the world. Make sure to subscribe and watch this other video if it sounds interesting.